As my patience grows thin, I start my day in a stand that is closer to the middle of Skinny's range than any I've hunted all season.
It's a super still morning. We got on stand probably right about the beginning of legal shooting time this morning. This is the block of timber where we think that Skinny's living. You know, we don't really know for sure where all this deer goes, but the places where we've been getting the most pictures of him have been right around this block of timber. I wish it wasn't quite so still. On these still mornings, it's just so tough to get to the tree stand without bumping deer. Kind of roll with it here a little bit this morning. It's cooler, about 40 degrees. It just seems like the deer move best under those conditions.
While I wait on Skinny, 70 miles to the northeast, Jared Mills is hunting a creek bottom in the middle of Hermit's Range.
It's the morning of November 4th, and I'm gonna be quiet because there's a couple of deer about 60 yards away, a couple of fawns we think. Still hunting Hermit this morning. I had an encounter with him last night. Unfortunately the wind swirled and he busted me, but that was quite a ways from where we're sitting this morning. We're set up in a creek bottom spot that I've had some good hunts in the past, and this is also a spot that I passed him last year when he was crossing the creek about 25 yards from here. So sit for a little while and then head down to Mike's farm and hopefully have some good hunting down there.
At the same time, 350 miles away in southern Kansas, TJ Prater is hunting a creek crossing, the same stand where he tagged a mature 8-pointer the year before.
Well, it's November 4th here in Kansas. It's turning out to be a start of a good week. Josh killed a stud yesterday. We kind of snuck into the same place where I was hunting last year, where I shot my buck. And we're expecting these deer to be crossing the creek. It's about the only crossing within a half mile. So this is a good place for these bucks to come across and check these does that are bedded up to our north. So we'll see what happens.
I kept close tabs on Skinny from early September through early November. He was a very tough buck to pattern because he seemed to show up almost randomly throughout his range. However, with the use of several Muddy ProCam 12 cameras, I was able to start putting the pieces together.
November 4th brought light and variable winds. On days like this, scent reduction products like the Ozonics really make a difference. We have proven to ourselves that Ozonics will significantly reduce airborne scent, making still days easier to manage.
We use trophy rocks for 5 reasons. The deer love them, they create a healthier herd, they are portable and easy to put out, we can keep them off the ground so the deer don't have to eat dirt, and finally, they are long lasting.
Quick, sometimes awkward tree stand shots can test your ability to hit a consistent anchor point. Hoyt bows feature cams with draw stops and smooth draw cycles so you can hit your anchor point quickly, precisely, and with the least amount of movement possible.
2 in a row. That is the biggest buck I have ever shot in my life. Remember I told you I heard something down the creek and I seen his... Remember I told you I seen that? I was watching this whole time. I don't know where it was, but right along that creek. I guarantee that's where he was. I just kept seeing... and steam coming up.
Really?
It was right there. It was right there. Then when I grunted, I seen it over there. That's when coming up that bank somewhere. I seen those horns. He was there the entire morning.
He came to that grunt, dude.
If we were rattled, he'd have been gone.
I know.
Good call, Josh. This is well worth the wait. I mean, this deer is absolutely a stud. I couldn't be any more happy. I was able to tag out today. Josh tagged out yesterday. Hadn't seen much. I seen a doe cross the creek. I asked Josh, I said, you think we should ride on? He said, no, probably not right now. And that was a good call. That's probably what saved this hunt, because I decided to do a couple soft grunts. And it was probably 5 minutes after I did that, he come walking down the edge of the creek bank, and you could tell he was looking for something. He looked back towards the food plot, then he was gonna try to circle around. He didn't see anything, he was gonna walk back, and he gave me a perfect opportunity to draw back. I wish the shot was a little lower, but it worked out great. Matt and Derek both take vacation tomorrow, so me and Josh tagged out at the perfect time. So hopefully by the end of the week, we can have 4 bucks down in Kansas, and that can't think of a better way to have a season here.
As TJ and friends celebrate his biggest buck, my morning comes to a disappointing end when a hypersensitive doe spots us in the tree and sounds the alarm. It has also been a slow morning for Jared Mills.
Well, as expected, it was a slow morning, just a couple fawns. Like I said earlier, we're gonna head down to Mike's farm now and hopefully have some good hunting down there. And I'm just gonna kind of wait till we get the right conditions to go back in after Herman again on the spot I keep encountering. And with this morning's weather, it just wasn't worth the risk of going in there. So we'll see, hopefully I get that opportunity in a couple days before he starts running around too much, but definitely gonna stay after Hermit.
As the fog lifts in Illinois, Justin Lindeman prepares to take up the blood trail on the buck he hit earlier that morning.
So we probably got at least 12 inches of penetration. Is that a white belly down there? Sure enough, looks like it. Man, nice solid deer. Couldn't be happier. It's been a dry spell for Mark and I. We've got another week left of our vacation, so we'll be right back out at it, searching for another one like this. Nice deer.
When they are close for long periods, it becomes almost impossible to fool a mature whitetail. TJ's Realtree extra pattern kept him hidden in an open tree on a still morning while the buck he was after stood at 20 yards for several minutes. Justin blew through the shoulder blade on this buck and caught both lungs. On marginal hits, nothing is more important than penetration. That means you need broadheads with conservative cutting diameters, and Rocket makes several of them. The Rocket Steelhead is one of the best penetrating heads on the market.
The Muddy ProCam 12 is one of the best trail camera values. It boasts top features at a reasonable price. With its fast trigger speed and time-lapse capability, it will work almost anywhere. Their ProCam 10 is even more affordable, but with its slower trigger time, it works best over a baited sight. There is a muddy camera for any budget and any situation. Being able to thread an arrow through small openings can pay off in venison. For whitetail hunting, I like a sturdy arrow weighing roughly 5.5 to 6 grains per pound of your bow's maximum draw force. This produces quiet shooting and good penetration, but still permits a reasonably flat trajectory for shooting through openings. Easton's FMJ arrows fit this requirement perfectly. Interestingly, once the deer get used to a blind in a certain field, you can move it at will and they won't react to the new location. This permits us to fine-tune our blind locations as the season advances, and nothing makes this easier than fitting a redneck blind with a redneck trailer stand and pulling it from place to place with your truck or ATV. That afternoon, I head to a stand overlooking a big and beastie plot on the north edge of Skinny's range. I sneak in using a dry creek in a standing cornfield, a bulletproof approach that surely went unnoticed. After the failed attempts to hump the bean plot closer to the middle of the buck's range, this is where I moved the stands, a more conservative spot, but still within reach. "50 miles to the east, Mike Reed is back on his farm, hunting for a buck he calls Brutus, an old warrior he's been after for 2 seasons.
Well, it's the afternoon of November 4th, and Jared and I have made the move down to my farm. We're back in here on the Twin Spirits plot, and I feel like this spot's my best chance to kill or at least get a look at Brutus. I also have a couple other mature bucks that I've been getting pictures of on this plot that I'll shoot as management bucks. So we can actually see quite a ways, and so that helps. Hopefully we'll see a good buck. If it's off in the distance, we can call to it and get it to come check out this spot.
Back in my stand, a great young buck kicks off the evening hunt. The first time you hunt a new stand is often the best of the season. I'm looking forward to what may show up.
In what direction? Someone just came out up on the clover. Yeah, it's that 8-wire down. I bet he's only 3. Just stand out there with that doe. I wonder if he's been there the whole day. I don't know if I want him bad enough to try to call him over here. I know where we can get him in the morning though. We can get him up in that tree stand up on that hill. There's another buck back there. Yeah, that's the other one that came over that hill. What's that? Wow. He's just walking him right out of there. Seeing him. Ah, dang it. I could have let him go through, I guess. That's all right. I didn't want him that bad.
I planted this big and beastie plot with the RTP Genesis seeder. It is ideal for drilling seed in the summer when the no-till feature conserves precious soil moisture.
Mike's food plot is planted to Frigid Forage Wild Game Buffet. It's an excellent perennial blend of clovers with annual brassicas to increase forage the first year. Wild Game Buffet grows well in shaded areas.
Though it was right at the end of legal shooting time, I had no problem seeing the bright pins on my fused sight. Had this buck presented a shot, I feel good that I would have been able to deliver the arrow accurately. That is all you can ask of a sight: visibility and precision under all hunting conditions.
Cabela's is the best manufacturer we've found for producing quality footwear for deer hunters. Some of the Midwest Whitetail Pro staff favor rubber boots, while others use lace-ups. Cabela's makes models in both styles that are scent-free and perfectly fit to the task.
That's all right. I didn't want him that bad.
As light fades, the buck trots off. In some ways, I'm actually glad he got away. Skinny is still out there, and the rut is still young. It was an impressive evening of action in the new spot, better than I expected.
He just trotted out of the big and beastie.
For Mike and Jared, it's been a slow day of hunting. Even on great farms, the rut is often sporadic. A few days of fast action, and then several that test our resolve. But a season can change in a moment when the right doe comes through. The rut is like that. Only a second separates adrenaline from boredom.
Dude, he came out of nowhere. That's what I'm looking at, buddy.
It is what we love about the rut. It is what we love about chasing November.